and welcome to day 16 of Shocktober. Today we're going to be talking about Wrong Turn. Wrong Turn is about a group of 6 people who find themselves victim to a group of cannibalistic, inbred, crazy people while camping in West Virginia. So first thing I gotta talk about that I enjoyed with The Wrong Turn is the cast. This is my first time seeing Wrong Turn, and I knew Eliza Dushku was in it from the poster, obviously. I didn't realize that this movie is full of just like late 90s, early 2000 royalty. Aside from Dushku, it also has Desmond Harrington in it, Emmanuel Chikri, I'm not sure how you say her name, but her picture is going to pop up, so I know you recognize her. As well as Jeremy Sisto, Kevin Zegers, and Lindy Booth. So definitely got some early 2000s star power in this movie. I really liked the amount of gore in this movie. I feel like lately a lot of the films I've been watching haven't been very gory, and I didn't realize how much I was missing that in my life until I watched Wrong Turn, and I was just kind of like, ah, yes, lots of gore, blood, I love it all. And it actually kind of toned down the sexiness of the movie. Usually in a movie like this, you have at least one couple who gets naked on screen and then they die. But this particular movie, it does have a couple played by Lindy Booth and Kevin Zegers, who it's implied that they have some sexy times, but they don't actually show anything other than Lindy Booth pulling down Kevin Zegers' pants. That's about it. And then it cuts to something else, and it comes back to them later after it's assumed that they've, you know, had some fun. So I kind of like that. And there's no, other than the pantsing, there's no nudity or anything like that. And actually it was kind of refreshing. I know, did I just say that? Interesting not to see that, because I was so expecting it. Like when that scene started, I was kind of just like, oh, okay, here we go. And you know, when they're in the throes of passion, one of the mountain men is gonna come and butcher them. But that is not what happened, and I was actually surprised. It threw me for a little bit of a loop, and I kind of enjoyed that. I was just like, oh, okay. Nobody took their top off. All right. They also did a really good job of developing at least some of the characters, at least a little bit. Obviously not every single one of the group is gonna be fully developed character, because there's 6 of them and that would take forever, because you gotta start killing people quickly. But I like that they told you enough about them to care about them, at least at some point. I was getting a little bit worried because obviously Eliza Dushku's character, Jessie, is gonna be like the female lead. Obviously, she's on the cover, opposite to the male lead, Chris. And I was a little bit worried because I feel like all of her friends were a little bit more developed than she was, and I was kind of just like, I don't really care if she lives or dies right now. Like, I don't know anything about her. Like, Chris just happens upon them and then all of a sudden they're being attacked. So but they tell you enough about the characters to make you care about them. Like the character of Carly and Scott, you know that they're newly engaged, so that kind of gives you reason to at least feel a little bit for them when they start to be attacked, because you're just like, oh, I want them to make it out and to get married and whatever. But eventually they do tell you a little bit more about Jessie's character, so it was surprising. Like, you didn't need to know a lot about them, but they gave you enough information to care whether they lived or died. The only thing I can really complain about with Wrong Turn is the actual cannibalistic, inbred mountain men. So there's a group of 3, I'm pretty sure it was 3 of them. They don't show a whole lot of them. Like they don't get a lot of screen time, and when they do, it's typically very quick. Which is kind of interesting because it makes them a little bit scarier. But the only thing I didn't like was they established kind of like in the opening credits that these guys are like, they're the product of like generations of inbreeding. Don't actually speak, really. They don't actually really use words. They seem like they kind of have their own language of like grunts and shrieks and things. And I kind of didn't like that. I feel like they made them a little bit too monstrous, and I was expecting more, like just at least a little bit more human to them. Kind of like, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like they were definitely crazy and there was stuff wrong with them, but ultimately like they sounded like people, they acted like people. So I was okay with the idea that like they were inbred and stuff like that, like kind of like as a cause for what they do, but just they were a little bit too monstrous. I just wanted them to be a little bit more human, and I think that would have been more scarier. I think that would have been scarier and made me never want to drive through West Virginia ever. So should you watch Wrong Turn? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say sure. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. I thought it was entertaining enough. For sure, it'll definitely satisfy any gore cravings you're having, so go for it. That being said, I'm gonna give it a rating of 3 out of 5. It was all right. I enjoyed watching it. It was okay. IMDb, it has a 6.1 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 41% critic score and 54% audience score. So let me know if you've seen Wrong Turn in the comment section down below and what you thought about it, and let me know if any of the sequels are worth it. I know there's like 50 million Wrong Turn movies. I think it's actually like 7 or 8 or something like that. So let me know if any of the sequels are worthwhile and I'll check them out. I almost forgot. Wow, I have it sitting right in front of me too, so I wouldn't forget. Right, so now I have to announce the winner of the giveaway from my Box of Dread unboxing. I got 2 duplicates. That never happens. I always at least get, you know, one thing that I already have. But I got a copy of All Cheerleaders Die on DVD here, which I already own. So it's a great movie, but I don't need it twice. And I also received this Funko Pop figure of Carrie, which I already actually own. So that means one of you lucky creepy people gets to own these 2 things. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that now. I asked you guys in the video to let me know what you're gonna do this year for Halloween so I could pick the winner. Go away. Right. All right, so you guys know how I do this by now. I just count down, you know, from the first comment I see is number 1, and then I just go down. And then I just use a random number generator and pick the winner. All right. So let's see. I don't know how many comments there's gonna be in here. I didn't give you guys a lot of time, but it was mostly for me. So I wouldn't forget. I feel like if I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys a week, and then that week, you know, rolls around and then I forget about it. Okay. So here we have our random number generator set to 1 to 10, which is fine. There's 8 of you guys, so more than likely we'll get a number for you. So let's hit generate. Nope, just kidding. 10, there's not 10 of you, so let's try again. 6. So the 6 coming down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we have our winner, which I'll take a screenshot of her comment and put it up properly, but it is Lizzie Rose, and she is going to have a horror movie marathon with some friends for Halloween. Thumbs up, that's usually what I do. have a movie marathon, and carve pumpkins. Awesome. So congrats, Ghoul, you won. I will message you. I'll give you a day to see this to see this video so you can see your comment up here and everything. But I'll message you and see where you would like your Carrie Funko and your copy of All Cheerleaders Die sent. All right, now I can do the outro. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday, and every single day of this month there's an additional movie review for Shocktober. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay strange.